The harsh reality of trading funded capital is that for majority of people who end up getting funded, within the first 3 months, they end up losing the capital they've gained. So in this particular video, I would love to pass on to you guys insights, understandings, and tools that I've been sharing with my one-on-one guys and my guys in the challenge for the last few years to help ensure that if you do get funded, you continue to hold on to that and continue to scale it and have longevity with that. So first and foremost, the moment you get funded, to increase the worthiness and the feeling of deserving that funding so you don't end up self-sabotaging and pushing it away, there's a very profound exercise that I'm going to encourage every single one of you guys do. Whatever amount of money you perceive to have gained from that funding, you want to get a piece of paper and rule a line down the middle of that paper. And on the top left, put down how much you perceive to have gained. 100,000 US, 200,000 US, 70,000 US, 10,000, whatever it may be, even a mil, 10 mil, whatever you're trading at, put down the number that you perceive to have gained with that funding. And then on the right side of that page, you want to go in there and you want to start writing down all the work you've put in the past, all the times you've put work in that you haven't gotten paid for, all the relationships, all the times, all the events you've sacrificed that are worth something to you. And pretty much on the right, you want to start putting down all the things that you've done in the past, all the investments, all the energy, all the effort, all the money that you've invested into your education, so on and so forth, that you haven't already seen a result or remuneration from. So just to recap, on the left side of that piece of paper, you're writing down how much you perceive to have gained. And on the right side of that piece of paper, from the moment you perceived yourself getting funded back into the past, work backwards from that moment, go through your life, all 7 areas of life, to figure out times you put work and energy and effort in that you haven't been paid for. And you want to go in there and quantify that. Say, for example, you've put 100 hours worth of back testing in that you haven't gotten paid for. You want to ask yourself, reasonably, what's my hourly rate? How much am I making per hour? And say it's $100, then you want to go in there and you write 100 hours, $100 per hour. That's $10,000 that you haven't been paid for already. You want to write that down next to the 100 hours of back testing, $10,000. So what you're doing is you're pretty much creating the balance sheet in your mind to balance the equation. And what I encourage all my clients to see funding as is the compensation for all the work they put in the past that they haven't been paid for. Because if you're going on your trading journey perceiving that you've gained something that you're highly infatuated with, the funding, and you don't perceive that you've earned that deep down, you don't feel like you deserve that, you don't feel like you're worthy of that, you're not going to be able to hold on to it. You're going to have internal shame and guilt eating away at you, and there's an altruistic compensation for shame and guilt, so you're going to push that money away, and you're going to end up hitting the drawdown buffer, for example. So the moment you get funded, you want to balance that equation in your head and you want to recognize that you haven't gained anything, but you truly deserve that because you work for every dollar that you have now been compensated through for the funding. And this goes for any entrepreneur who wants to get funding. Doesn't matter how big the value is. I think every entrepreneur, every trader, every investor recognizes that there's a lot of groundwork that you put in that you don't get paid for. So the moment you do get funding, that's amazing. It's the immediate compensation for all the work you've done in the past that you haven't been compensated for. And I encourage you guys to see that in your mind by writing everything down on the right side of that piece of paper so you can tangibly see that the right side equals the left side. And don't stop writing down things you haven't been paid for, sacrifices you've made, investments you've made, energy you've put in that you haven't been compensated for. Don't stop writing those things down until it quantitatively equals the amount on the left. You want to keep going until you have that feeling of confidence and certainty and worthiness that you truly deserve the funding you've gotten. Until you can't feel that feeling, keep writing moments you haven't been paid for in the past. I assure you that one exercise will put you 70 to 80 to even 90% of the way there of feeling worthy of that funding and not losing that funding. And then of course, you want to go through the technical components in your trading plan and ensure that you have proper risk management protocols and ensure that you have a certain amount of losses you can take before you stop trading and you do some level of review. And ensure your entry criteria are very specific and your management criteria is very specific. And your trading plan and your technical components are very specific as well. But if you don't take care of the mindset, if you don't feel worthy of that funding, you're not going to be able to hold on to it. So go in there and do that exercise the moment you get funded. Balance the equation in your head. See that you're just being compensated for all the work you put in the past, and feel worthy of the funding you're getting. And I guarantee you it will put you in a position to successfully manage and continue to scale that funding.